Welcome inside the Lethbridge Hurricanes dressing room with the new head coach of the Lethbridge Hurricanes, the 16th head coach in franchise history, Matt Anholt, taking over from Bill Peters. You, of course, many years with the organization. You'll go into your 8th season, so maybe talk about the excitement level of taking on the head coaching role.
Yeah, really excited, really honored. Obviously, to follow in the footsteps of Brent Kistio and Bill Peters and a lot of good coaches over, before Brent. Just outstanding. What a time, for me, for an opportunity, but a time for our organization. It's a little bit of a turning of a page after a really good season. Lots of older guys moving on, and it's going to be exciting.
You mentioned Bill most recently as the head coach. Brent before that, who spent 8 years here. Talk about what you've been able to learn in your 7 years in the organization under two elite coaches like that.
Yeah, I'll just kind of start with Kiss. Brent, an unbelievable understanding of how to win in junior hockey. Really knew the league, really knew the coaches in the league, the players in the league, but understood how to have success in the league. Our systems, our details, our how we executed our systems. Just very, very good understanding. And then with Bill, just his attention to detail in everything, I would say, when it comes to scheduling, your day-to-day or how meetings should be set up or how practice should be set up, how jerseys need to be color coordinated, all the little fine details, Billy was just outstanding when it came to that stuff. And, even the other coaches I've been lucky enough to work with, I think, look back to my time with Andrew Doty, who's now with Calgary, the Calgary Flames organization, very good at handling meetings, and I learned a lot from Dotes in my time with him, understanding how to execute a meeting, how to set up a meeting with PowerPoint slides and all that stuff, and that got me a long ways, I think, in my chances at working with Hockey Canada. And again, worked with some unbelievable coaches there. Travis Crickard and Carl Millette, learned lots from those guys in my short time. So I've been very fortunate to work with great coaches and steal a lot.
Stealing is important to have success. You talk about going from a skills coach coming out of your playing career at NCAA to being a video coach to an assistant coach to every step of the way. So to get to this point now, at the age that you are, you'll be a young head coach in the Western Hockey League, but having worked in the league for the better part of 8 to 9 years, maybe talk about how you feel about the opportunity in terms of pressure, in terms of expectation, and in terms of excitement.
Yeah, Sean McVay is a big idol of mine, and the LA Rams head coach. He took that LA Rams job as a young coach, started coaching at a young age like I did, and he has a famous quote that he likes to use. Well, there is no pressure when you enjoy with the people you're working with, and we're very fortunate to have really good coaches, really good staff members, really good players here to work with, and I don't find there's any pressure. We just want to come to the rink every day and just find a way to get better in that day and just have fun doing it. I'm started as a skills and development coach, so I do have a high priority on that stuff. I think that's extremely important with junior hockey, and especially with where junior hockey is going. Could be a little bit younger, so skill and development is going to be extremely important. Patience with the young kids and helping them reach their goals.
When you look at the season that just happened, of course, a really great year, over 40 wins, went to the third round of the conference final. What did you learn as a coach that you hope to be able to take into the head coaching role?
Well, I think it just goes to show how hard it is to win. I mean, obviously this organization's went to 3 East finals in the last 10 years or so now, and hasn't been able to get over that hump, and it's not easy. There's always a few teams that are very, very strong organizations every year. With their rosters and with the moves they made, we were one of those teams this year to make the Final Four. Is extremely difficult, and I think our injury toll showed how hard it is. We were missing 3 to 4 key guys in that final series against Medicine Hat, and it just goes to show how hard it is, and the trials and tribulations you need and the depth you need to have success in that final series, and possibly the finals if you do move on. It's a long road, but nothing good comes easy, and that's what winning's all about.
Before you talked about the staff, one of the things that this organization has preached and been proud of is the continuity on both the hockey and the business side of the organization. So to have familiar faces, obviously with the change in the head coach, there will be changes under that as well, but to have returning hockey staff like Ryan Aisman, who's been here for 4 years going into his 5th season as an assistant coach, maybe talk about the excitement level of that continuity.
Yeah, I mean, me and Ryan are extremely good friends. When you're assistant coaches, you work in the foxhole a lot together, and we were able to do that over the last 4 years, and you bounce a lot of ideas off each other, talking hockey, and we see the game very similarly, so it's going to be a fun time to work with Ryan on how we want to play in all of our system play and what have you. But we're gonna, we'll look to hire somebody else as well. We're looking to bring in somebody that has a lot of juice, that has a lot of excitement, that wants to be on the ice, that wants to work with young guys, that wants to help guys reach their goals, and we're in the midst of looking for that currently.
I know when you're a part of a hockey staff and a coaching staff, there's always preparation even when the off season is on. So how does the preparation for you over the next 3 months change, going from being an assistant or associate coach to being the head coach?
Yeah, lots of changes for sure. Obviously, like I alluded to earlier, Billy was excellent at finding knitting through those fine details of the schedule, and he put a lot of time in the summer to make sure that we were airtight come September, so there was no hiccups throughout the season, or less hiccups, I guess. So lots of little things to chip away at. Like you and me will be talking probably pretty soon, and then got lots of little chats with Whitey and Marty about certain scheduling things, and as well as Azer and our new assistant coach on lots of how we want to play. I mean, I think it's kind of an exciting time with our team, with where our roster is, but also with the coaching changes. We can it's a little bit of a blank slate of how we want to play in all the little ways and the systems of the hockey and of the game, and I think we've got to work all those details out this summer. I'm excited.
A young and new head coach, and a kind of transition for the organization after this season to what will be probably a more youthful roster next year. So what type of team do you want to have as being the guy at the top of it when you look ahead to next season?
Yeah, I think that question, it usually brings out a lot of cliche answers. I just want to have a group of guys that want to get better every day and compete. I think competing against yourself makes you want to get better every day, and have a can-do attitude. And you look at, for example, Noah Chadwick, who's graduating, like an extremely competitive learner in any way he could be, whether it was on the ice or off the ice, or reading books, or making sure his body was ready to go for a weekend of games. I would like our players to have that attitude every single day, and our coaches and our staff members to have that attitude every single day. Let's just win the day, and then we'll worry about tomorrow when it comes. I think I want guys that want to be pros, you got to, in order to do that, you have to compete with yourself every single day, and hopefully when we play against other teams around the league, we're going to compete even harder.
Win the day, certainly a day that you've won today as the new head coach of the Lethbridge Hurricanes. Matt Anholt, congratulations.
Yeah, thanks, Forbesy.